Welcome, everybody, back to Wire2Wire Sports Podcast. I am fired up. I'm the NFL genius, Sheen Walzak. We have an NFL topic tonight. I'm ready for that. Great conversation tonight. Fun topics, trivia. But before we get started, in the upper left corner, we got Kent State's own, Cleveland's own, College Cutthroat.
Gentlemen, this is about to be a fun night. I liked all the topics that we're going over, spicing it up a little bit. Some new stuff getting talked about. I'm looking forward to tonight.
It's going to be a spicy night. It's going to be a spicy night. In the upper right corner, a guy that's going to be giving us the trivia question because finally someone's knocked him off. It's Scholastic Shally, Uncle Shally, Mr. William Shallcross. And he has no volume. How does this fucking happen? Shally has no volume at all. It's okay. It's only once every 3 shows it happens, so we don't have to worry about that too much. It's not like we're not prepared, and I do appreciate the comment about the fade. I will tell you this, though, Kevin. I'm still cleaning out my freezer from the Coca-Cola that you left in my freezer that exploded all over the damn freezer.
What about now?
Yeah, I hear you now.
I hear you.
How does that happen?
It's every time we go out to come back in, it disconnects for some reason. I don't know why. It's weird.
All right, well.
Anyway, still claiming collusion from last week. I know you two conspired against me, that BS basketball trivia question, but it's all right. It's all right.
If anybody's claiming collusion, I can claim collusion for the first time you beat me when I named more people, but I got 3 strikes first.
You got more wrong. That's part of the game. You got to play both. You got to play both sides, Gene.
You had
offense and defense.
There was movies on this list, top 10 villains that were out before I was even born.
Yeah, well, that's not our fault. That's not our fault. You got
to. I'm calling collusion.
Everybody's.
I got a good one tonight, though. Good one. I got a good one with a lot of answers. So it's gonna be a battle of attrition to see who can keep going on this one.
I'm tagging a bunch of people right now on Twitter. Retweet us, please, because Twitter's been killing it recently. So just tagged a bunch of people.
I'm really excited for the NFL topic. I think that's gonna be fun. I'm very proud of my answers.
Listen, Kevin said this perfectly. I really would like your thoughts on this, Chally. Bro said friends until the end unless you leave a soda in my freezer. My guy, Mooney left a soda in my freezer. He stopped over to watch some sporting event, left a soda in my freezer and exploded over everything. Like, why were you putting a can of Coke in my freezer?
Yeah, do you not have like ice that you could just put it in a glass and make it cold?
I have ice. I have all that.
Yeah, I'm going to have to put this one on. I'm going to have to put this one on Mooney then.
Jeez. All right. Well, we got to get started. We got some NBA topics to start with. Let's start with, I guess, the 2 biggest news that happened the last week would be. Let's start with the JJ Redick hiring for the Los Angeles Lakers. I'll say this, and Katra, you said this immediately, and I agreed with you. JJ Redick's going to learn how to turn down his attitude, I guess, to be an NBA head coach, because I can't wait till his first 3-game losing streak and he gets in front of the media and goes, well, I really don't give an F, because that's not really the way you should handle that. Just an opinion, just a thought process. What would you say JJ Redick hiring for the Lakers? I think it's a terrible hire. I think JJ Redick will eventually be a good coach in the NBA if he really puts his head down and gets to it, but he's got 0 coaching experience. Yeah, he did coach. Didn't he coach high school JV for a couple of years?
They said 4th grade travel team or something like that.
Hey, he did coach the 4th grade travel team.
Did they win?
That I don't know. Who knows? As far as the coaching hire goes, look, I've been pretty consistent with this. I think JJ is a great basketball mind. I just don't know for a team like the Lakers, who is so hell-bent on being in this win now mentality. Bringing in a first-time head coach, to me, doesn't seem like it makes the most sense. I think you've seen Steve Kerr have success without having coaching experience, but you can't bank on this guy really coming in out of nowhere, just having that immediate success. So to me, I think it's a very weird hire. I would have liked JJ to go somewhere where he was not just the guy long term, but go somewhere where it was a lot of youth and would be able to build, long term, where it's like, hey, if we don't have success this first year, this second year, it's all right. We weren't expecting to win right now. Him going to the Lakers, it really feels like a death wish for him, because if they don't win it all this year, he's going to be on the hot seat in his second year. So I don't know, ultimately what the Lakers were thinking there, but be very interesting to see how it all plays out and what assistants they get to be on the bench with him, because he already said he wants to have, former head coaches that have a ton of experience there, and it'll be curious to see what guys are going to be available.
Honestly, that's not a bad idea to have ex-head coaches to be available as your assistant coaches. That's fair. That'll help him show him the ropes. Kind of the way Pat Riley was there to show Eric Spoelstra the ropes. Mm-hmm. But a lot of these first-time head coaches that go from players to head coaches are flunking out, and they're flunking out right away, and they eventually get it, right? Like, give an example of Jason Kidd. Flunked out of Milwaukee, went down to Dallas. He's starting to get it, right? He's got it now. Steve Nash, another guy, flunked out of, Brooklyn. We'll see if he ever gets it. Chauncey Billups, up there in Portland. There's a lot of these first-time head coaches with very little to no assistant coaching experience that flunk out quick. Now, if you give him the Joe Mazzulla treatment, I said that because my man Kyle just entered the chat, and give him like an assistant coach like Sam Cassell to help him grow, you never know. Like, he could turn into a very good coach. I just would love to see who he puts on his staff as an assistant coach.
And I saw one of the names that was floated out there being Scott Brooks, and I think that could be a very interesting name. Obviously, Scott Brooks had a lot of success being the head coach of the Oklahoma City Thunder. Another one that people mentioned was Sam Cassell. If the money is right, would he be willing to ultimately leave Boston and go to LA to be like the lead assistant there? So it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. There's plenty of, former head coaches that, are out there that could potentially be assistants for him. So I'm
Isn't that sacrilege though to go from Boston to LA? I thought those two teams had rival.
Sam Cassell is a guy that doesn't really have skin in that game though,
He won a championship in the green.
You just want to ring in the green. I mean, it's a little. I'm not saying it'd be different if it was like Larry Bird. Like, I agree, but at the same time,
imagine Larry Bird going over there.
Hey, Bill, you know firsthand that people leave Michigan, go to Ohio State. They leave Ohio State, go to Michigan. So
became but like. I mean, that's like a recent thing. That didn't happen back in the day. I mean, that's like the last 2 or 3 years thing. It's been like okay to do all of a sudden. And I think we've both benefited from it, but on the same token, I'm really not okay with it either.
Agreed. But I'm just saying it happens nowadays. Everyone's friendly. They're buddy. So
yeah,
maybe Monty. He's making $80 million just chilling. Maybe he goes there to be assistant coach.
Maybe he goes to just be a consultant. He's like, you guys need me there 3 weeks from now on a Tuesday. All right. You got me for the day.
Yeah. He'll just sit up in the box during game nights and sip drinks, make another $5 million.
Let's talk about the other move that happened. Mikal Bridges was traded to the New York Knicks. The Villanova Knicks are now complete. Let's just add Kyle Lowry as a backup point guard. And we can just
Arcidiacono.
I will say this. I do think it's super, super funny how in 2016, right before the national championship, and the clip keeps surfacing now, Stephen A. Smith made the comment of this Villanova basketball team has no NBA prospects on it right before the national championship. Now 4 of them are the stars for his New York Knicks. I think that's comedy. It's funny how the world, and like you can hear Skip Bayless in the background co-sign him. Yep, they have no NBA prospects on this Villanova team. Now 4 of them are all in the New York Knicks. Your thoughts on Mikal Bridges to the Knicks? Now, real quick before you guys go, the JJ thing is one thing I don't really have too much of an opinion on. I think it's a bad hire, but I'll get into that in a second. But the Mikal Bridges thing. I love that New York got Mikal Bridges there, and I love like what he brings to the team and what gets said for team chemistry and like the Villanova Knicks and how they all love each other. I'll say this, man. That was a haul. Like, I don't think the Brooklyn Nets lost that trade. They got 5 first-round draft picks in that. They got 4 from New York. They got a 5th one from, I think it's Milwaukee, and then they got a pick swap. Like, that's a lot for Mikal Bridges. For a guy that averages 15.5 points a game. It's a lot. That guy's, granted, you can point to his Brooklyn numbers and see he was averaging 22 points a game at the end of his Brooklyn. But, like, that was when he was the guy and there was nobody else. It was him and Cam Johnson there. He's not going to go to New York and get the touches he was getting from when he was in Brooklyn. That's a lot. It's a lot to give up for a guy that's a role player.
I mean, how I kind of look at it, though, is I think nowadays, like, it's definitely a haul, but I know you guys remember how recent we were talking about Rudy Gobert getting traded from Utah to Minnesota. And we're like, why the hell would you ever move that many first-round picks for Rudy Gobert? And we see he got the Timberwolves all the way to the Western Conference Finals. So if the Knicks feel like this is going to be a missing piece for them, a guy that can create his own offense and be a true number 2 option for Jalen Brunson and bring in another, physical wing to essentially guard and match up against Boston, because we know that's what everybody's trying to do now. They're trying to match up with what Boston's doing and create, good matchups for that series. I mean, I think that's money well spent. The report came out today as well that, OG Anunoby's planning to sign a Supermax to stay in New York. So I think, especially with the money that Mikal Bridges is making right now, being able to have all these guys on the roster, I do think that this was a good move for them. Plus, I also think, Nick Reyes brought up Tibbs. I think with Mikal Bridges ultimately being this Iron Man that he is, it's the perfect guy to fill in for Tibbs' system. He can run him into the ground, and Mikal's going to be, ready to go for it. So I think this makes the Knicks a lot deeper. The real question is, what happens with Julius Randle, and what can they bring in to really solidify their bench? Because I think their core is pretty set now.
You got to trade Julius Randle immediately. There's not enough spots on the court for him. Like, Shai, what do you think happens with Julius Randle? The way I see it is this. I mean, Kachal was talking about it for a minute, but Julius Randle doesn't have a spot on that team unless you're putting Josh Hart and Dante DiVincenzo to come off the bench, and you're starting a lineup of Brunson, Bridges, OG, Randle, and then like I don't like that. I don't like the idea of having DiVincenzo and Hart coming off the bench when Hart being your best rebounder. I would go out and trade Julius Randle, get yourself a bona fide center that can rim protect, that's not as fragile as Mitchell Robinson, and get a backup center, somebody that could play backup for him, because Hartenstein's not going to re-sign there, and play a small lineup with 4 guys. And I would start Hart and OG, and I would start, obviously Mikal Bridges, and you play small, right? You play a 4-and-1, almost like the Villanova lineup did when they played for Villanova. I would do that. Your thoughts on that, Bill?
I mean, he's a luxury that they have. They don't necessarily I agree with you. I don't think you necessarily have to keep him. I don't think you can frame it that way, that you're desperate to get rid of him, because you're gonna lose value there. But listen, I mean, one of the things that they had an issue with was depth down the stretch. Is it awful if Hart and DiVincenzo are coming off, the bench? Probably not. I agree with you. I don't like the spacing, and I don't like. I just think touches and the flow of the offense are going to be an issue if Randall stays on that team. He is a double-double machine. I know you mentioned the rebounding. He does absorb a lot of that. I mean, he wasn't on the court, which made Josh Hart kind of able to do what he did. He will absorb all the rebounding, but OG was the important thing to me. I was talking to Cottrell about it earlier. I like what New York did. I agree with both of you too. I don't think Brooklyn lost the trade by any means. I think they gave up a haul. Gene hit on the important thing for me. He's not going to be the number 1 guy there. So, I mean, if you're looking at his career numbers, you gave up a lot for, a number 2 or 3 option type guy. But They're trying to keep up with Boston. That's what they're doing. I think it's a move they had to make. I don't expect Randall to be there. I think they'll trade him. I think it's going to take a little longer than Knicks fans would probably like. Because I think it's going to be a little bit of a delicate situation. But if you're a Knicks fan, I think you woke up this morning, and I think you have to be really happy with where your team's at.
I don't think they can start Randall at the 5, particularly with that small 4. And if you're going to start Randall at the 5, you have to have heart on the court. Like, you have to have heart to be that extra rebounder, because I'll tell you right now, Julius Randle is not handling some of the bigs in the league, like Nikola Jokic, Joel Embiid, like those guys, Karl Anthony Towns. Those guys get in the paint, they're going to bully him.
Yeah, but if they're not playing them, I'm not saying you could play a whole game that way, but you could run 10 minutes a game that way if you had to. If it boils down
you
to
can run small.
So,
you can run small.
My thing, though, is we talk about it all the time when we talk about Julius Randle, though. You can visibly tell the lack of chemistry that he has when he's on the court with the rest of those guys. 100%. And when you're playing with Jalen and Mikal and Dante and just Josh, all those guys that are used to playing with each other, that are so unselfish, especially coming from that Villanova tree. When you get in that situation and Julius Randle's chucking up threes or just taking bad shots, like bad fadeaways in the paint, things like that, there's going to just build this animosity on the team. And at that point, if people are starting to see that in the middle of the season, you talk about Julius Randle's value right now being low. At that point, it's going to be at like an all-time low. So what I would do if I was the Knicks, try to give Julius Randle to a team that is looking to either A, rebuild, or B, a team that's just fully loaded with guys you can, like viable guys you can bring in to come off your bench to fill the role for that Knicks team. Because right now they got about 6 to 7 guys that are really good, that can play great ball. Depth's going to be still the question for them, especially, considering that we expect them to lose Hartenstein. I'd move Julius Randle, try and get some pieces to fill out that bench, maybe gather another big that's starting caliber or, good enough to replace Mitchell Robinson when he goes down with his, inevitable injury, and really just go from there.
I completely agree with you.
I think the other –
Go ahead, Joe. No.
I was just saying, I don't think Randle fits the mentality of that team either. Like even Tibbs, Tibbs is a hard-nosed, like high pressure, like I want you in guys' faces, hustle. And all those Villanova guys, obviously, man, like they're all scrappy, hustle, jump in the first row for a ball type guy. Julius Randle's not doing that. He loafs around, he wants the ball, he takes his shots, and then he kind of goes back down the other, on the other end and and just kind of hangs out. Like that's to Cottrell's point, like that's going to wear thin real quick with all those other guys that play the same way. I
look at Julius Randle as Velcro, man. When the ball gets thrown to him, it stays there.
He's a black hole.
Sticks to him.
I like that. Nick's talking about moving Julius Randle for Jordan Clarkson. I think if you get him over to Utah, Jordan Clarkson is a guy that I think would be good to come off the bench for them. Colin Sexton be another one I feel like could make a lot of sense. I'm saying a team like Utah and recoup some first round picks too. I think it makes a lot of sense.
Clarkson's kind of a gunner though.
What'd you say?
Clarkson's kind of a gunner though. He just comes off the bench. He's another one. He comes like he's there to score 18 points a game off the bench. He comes off the bench.
I'm saying that Colin, not necessarily Jordan, but Jordan, Colin Sexton, like go a team like Utah that's looking to move pieces that you can get valuable depth for, and also get some of their first round picks. They got a ton of them too from moving Donovan and Rudy.
I hate that move. I think where you got 5 guys on that team that need to get minutes that are under 6'7". I think you need a big, and Mitchell Robinson cannot be your only big going into the season.
Oh yeah, I mean you got to add something to that, but I mean I think Julius Randle is worth more than it wouldn't be an even swap, Randle for Clarkson. Like I don't think that would be the case.
You think there's any shot they keep Randle, and he just almost runs predominantly with some combination of the second unit, and when they go small and do something like that?
I could see that, especially throughout the regular season when Tibbs is trying to keep, most of those guys fresh.
OG and Nick said earlier that OG Anunoby can stick guys like Jokic and Embiid. He's 6'7", 240. No, he cannot. What? I don't know what planet you're on thinking OG Anunoby can stick some of the big centers in the league. He cannot use him.
Yeah. He's not sticking anybody like you said, Anthony Davis or JoJo or something like that. Like they're just gonna he's just gonna get bullied.
Even Kristaps. I think Kristaps would give him a fit because of his height.
Yeah,
you have 5-6 inches on somebody. You see the way Kristaps was getting those jump shots. Now, granted, whether Kristaps can stay healthy or not, that's the question. He hasn't been healthy. Like he's been healthy for a half a year in the last 4.
And they said he's already about to start the season off.
He's going to miss the beginning of next season. Yep.
Yeah.
And I think the interesting thing, too, for the New York to look out for is, especially tonight, there's going to be teams that are looking for a third team to help facilitate, moves and things like that. We saw, a while back, Andrew Wiggins ultimately got moved to Golden State from Minnesota when they were making their deals and, D'Lo was on the move or whatever. I think that could be an interesting piece, too. Julius Randle being kind of a throw-in kind of guy, but, New York getting back valuable pieces. That's just that third team.
We all agree this draft is going to be one of the worst we've ever seen.
I just don't think it's an instant impact type of draft. I think you'll have guys that'll get drafted that'll, I don't want to say be perennial all-stars, but I think you'll draft guys that are going to be really good NBA players. It just doesn't have a lot of star power. It doesn't have, last year, like we had Wemby. The year before that, we had, Holmgren and all those guys. Like we just don't have that. We don't have the guy this year.
I see, and where I don't agree with that fully is last year we did have Wemby, but we also had Scoot, the Thompson brothers from Elite. You had guys that were Derek Lively came out of last year's draft. You had a lot of guys that came out of that draft that I felt like we all knew who they were coming into the draft. There's a lot of guys in this draft, and we're all advocate basketball watchers. Like, there's a lot of guys coming over. Like Alex Sarr, we've heard of him from Australia, but how much do you guys know of Zachariah? I know nothing about this kid from France.
I get it, but I think to that same token, I do think if guys like outside of Scoot, because Scoot had been, Scoot, Chet, and Wemby, we've known about those guys for years, but Amen and Azur and Derek Lively, we knew about those guys too, but I think if you throw them in this class, that's the kind of players you're getting here. I don't think you're going to get necessarily any bona fide superstars in this class, but I think as a whole, there are some solid players in this class, in my opinion. I don't think the top end's not there. I'd much rather pick somewhere between 8 to 15 in this class as opposed to 1 through 5. Yeah. But I think the talent is there, and you're going to see, a good amount of these guys be solid role players.
Okay. Well, the draft is tonight. What team, before we get into draft, let's do NBA free agency. I'm sorry, I'm so unenthused about this draft tonight. I am. I'm unenthused.
You really want to talk about it.
I don't. All right, so the question I was going to ask is this: what team do you think needs to find something this draft that can be an immediate impact? And my first answer was going to be the San Antonio Spurs, and I think Steven Castle is the move for them. They need a point guard. They need a guy that's going to come in to be able to run their offense. I don't know who's going to be that guy in this draft. Steven Castle's the closest to that. You could see them reach on Dalton Knecht. Dalton Knecht could be their one, but I think Dalton Knecht projects to be a 3 at the next level. So, in my personal opinion, is there a team or a player that you think is a good fit in this draft?
If I'm the Spurs, I go after both the Kentucky guards. I get Reed at 4, and I love getting Dylan. If Dillingham's still there at 8, I love pairing those guys back up, letting them run and gun with Wemby. I mean, I was watching an interview today, Coach Calipari. I forgot what show he was on, but just think back and look at the history of Kentucky guards. Even the ones who aren't bona fide superstars, like Tyrese Maxey falling to the Sixers, outside of the lottery. People had questions about him, but he came in, he was ready to go, ready to work. Talk about all the other ones that had success there, De'Aaron Fox, Book, all those guys. Even Malik Monk's found his way, having a successful role in Sacramento.
We're not Malik Monk, is it? Come on, dude, stop.
But hear me out, though. Malik Monk wasn't a guy who was drafted number 1 overall. Malik Monk was a guy who was, he was taken in the lottery, but he's a 6 man of the year kind of guy. He's a valuable piece for that Sacramento team. Malik Monk just got paid. there's a lot of teams in the NBA that can use a guy like Malik Monk. And what I'm saying is, if you're not picking in that top 3, if you're getting a guy that can be a consistent starter for you and put up 16, 17 points a game consistently and be a critical piece, for your team moving forward, I'd want that guy on my team. And I think these Kentucky guards, they come in and they're ready to play basketball. And I think that's exactly what San Antonio needs. They need guys that can play basketball and that can come in and are ready to go right away. So if I'm San Antonio, I take both of Kentucky's guard. I take Reed and I take Dillingham and try and figure it out.
I got news for you. And I don't care if this is a bold prediction or not a bold prediction. I've watched both those kids play. Rob Dillingham was going to have more of an impact in the league, in my personal opinion, than Reed's going to have.
Oh, agreed. He's my favorite prospect in the class.
That's fair. I like that. And I think that he'll have way more of an impact, especially at the point guard position, being able to run an offense. I think that Reed's more of a scorer, and I think that you'll see him in a 2-guard set on a bad team. That's just the way I see him projecting in the NBA. I don't see him playing 2 on a good NBA basketball team. I just don't. Like, he might be a backup, might be instant offense off the bench, 6-man guy. Could be your Lou Williams. Could be your
Malik Monk.
It's fair. Funny how you said that. But I don't think Malik Monk's instant offense. He's not Jamal Crawford. He's not Lou Will.
He is. Malik Monk is instant offense.
Nah, I don't agree with that.
I'm not saying he's Lou Will or Jamal Crawford. Those are the quite literally 2 best 6 men of all time. 2 of Manu's in there too. So 2 of the 3 best 6 men of all time.
Well, even Clarkson. I don't think he's Clarkson either. I don't think he's a guy that comes off the bench and gives you that instant offense.
I mean, I don't know. I think you're short selling him a little bit.
Who?
Reed.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant Malik Monk. I'm like, no. Yeah. Listen, my guy Maurice said Monk is a bucket. I don't agree.
Average 15 last year, 44% shooting.
You want to go over career numbers?
I'd say
I'm talking about what he is now.
I don't think there's anybody that wouldn't take him on their team to be their 6th man right now.
Facts.
Unless you have Jordan Clarkson or, that's probably it right now.
Look, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. The guy's it's the first time in his career he's averaged over 15 points a game. Like, let's pump the brakes a little bit.
I get it, but I'm just saying he's Kentucky guard. And he's not – I didn't even get to your Jamal Murrays or
Jamal
Devin
Murray.
Bookers and, all those guys. I'm just saying if that's like your low end, you're in a good spot.
You can even just go further back and just say Cal Perry guards. Like even in his Memphis days. Derrick Rose.
I mean, you look at all his good college teams when they're successful, it's because the big guys figure out how to play. Like he always has guards that carry those teams. And they do. Like they're usually smarter kids that have a fairly good understanding of how to really play basketball when they get to the league. And then you have the years like when they had, when the bigs played really well, then that's usually when he wins championships.
All right, so here's the thing I have set for free agency. Anything else you guys want to talk about draft-wise?
Also want to put out there, just for the record, I think Dalton Connect is going to be a good pickup for a team. And I think
it's crazy how me and you have swapped on Dalton Connect. Dalton Connect wasn't athletic enough to take Tennessee to the Final Four before the draft started. And I was like, Dalton Connect's going to be the player of the tournament. Now we're at the draft, and I don't think Dalton Connect is an NBA player, and you think he's going to be a player in the NBA. It's crazy how we swapped.
I think Dalton Connect has the highest floor of anybody in this entire class.
That's fair. I like that. That's a real point.
And then I think that the X factor guy that I'm looking out for tonight is going to be Matas Buzelis, European kid that I would say last year coming into this year, he was at least in my opinion, I thought he was the number 1 player in this class. Didn't really have a great year numbers wise, but I think if he can go to the right situation, and I mean, top 5, top 10, there's not many great situations there, but I think if he can go somewhere with a good system to develop him, I think he can be another guy outside of Dillingham that I could see blossoming into the second or third best player in this class.
Shal, anything else you want to add to this loaded NBA draft?
Nope.
Okay. I have a fun game I want to play with you guys. I didn't tell you guys I was going to do it. I'm going to give you free agents that, or guys that have player options, or guys that are said to be on the move. And I want to hear your thoughts on where they will be playing next year. Is that fair?
Okay.
All right. So we'll start with Paul George, number 1 on the board. Where's Paul George next year?
I'm buying in. Golden State. Think this is their last run.
Okay.
Well, with the core as is.
I'll go Golden State as well because I'm praying he doesn't go to Philly.
I'm going to go Philadelphia. That's where I think Paul George ends up. I'm not even going to bring it up. We all agree LeBron's staying in LA, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Especially with the JJ Redick hire.
Yes.
That solidifies it. All right. LeBron James is the next one. OG is going to re-sign with the Knicks. That's easy.
Yep.
Let's get a little bit more fun. DeMar DeRozan.
Clippers.
Philly.
So you think DeMar DeRozan takes the Paul George role?
Yes.
For the Clippers. You think DeMar DeRozan's the 76ers sign?
Yep.
Okay. I think DeMar DeRozan ends up on the Lakers. And I think it's a sign and trade.
Ew, that's
I
ugly.
I really believe that. I think
that's a nasty fit.
I'm not disagreeing with you. Klay Thompson. Because it's funny, you kind of backed yourself into a corner. Because if Paul George signs with the Warriors, there is no money.
Oh, for sure.
Klay Thompson back. He is not going back to the Warriors. He's ending his career. He's retiring, or he's going somewhere else.
I think that'll be where LA gets interesting. But the one I'll go with, I'll say Miami.
Okay.
I'll go Milwaukee.
I think that's a good fit too.
It's funny you said that, man. I think that Klay Thompson ends up back in Golden State because I don't think they get Paul George, and I think that they keep the Splash Brothers together, and that's where I think happens. So I think he stays with Golden State.
I think it's a weird situation. I feel like neither side wants to say it. I don't think he plays for Golden State ever again.
That's wild. That's crazy.
And I think that I'll double down on that too. I think if they commit to Klay, the Warriors they're not literally telling you this, but they're basically telling you that they are not competing for a championship.
Agreed.
I got a fun one for you. Or we're going to do both of them. Tobias Harris over me? We're going with Tobias Harris. Where's Tobias Harris end up? I know where he's ending up. I already know. He's going to steal some more money. He's going to get an overpaid contract from Detroit or Utah. It's going to happen.
Detroit.
I could see him.
Detroit basketball.
He's going back. Yep. It's funny that we're on the same.
And he's going to get overpaid. He's going to get overpaid
4 years,
again.
4 years, $100 million.
Oh, he'll get more than that. He'll get more than that. From Detroit or Utah, they got too much money. They got to get to the floor. Nick Reyes says Tobias Harris to Memphis.
No, I think Memphis is going to actively be trying to. Memphis is a team that can go from Matas Buzelis, him going to Memphis, that could be a great fit.
Bro, they're getting BI, in my opinion.
I'm just saying, I think Memphis is focused on winning now, and I don't think Tobias Harris is in that plan. That's what I was getting at with Memphis.
That's fair.
BI makes a lot of sense.
I think BI goes to Memphis. I think they end up moving on from Marcus Smart and trading him like a sign and trade.
I can see that. But you haven't asked about him yet. I don't know if he's coming up or not because he's not a free agent, but we've talked about the Philly guys. You both have brought him up. I think Zach LaVine is going to be the guy that goes to Philly.
Oh, really? I wasn't going to bring him up. You're right.
I think Zach LaVine is the guy. You said, Bill? I mean, I think that's like the perfect piece.
I don't want Zach LaVine. He doesn't play.
He's played 80 games the last 3 seasons.
Fit right in.
Yeah, great. So two of the 3 guys on the bench. Perfect.
Oh man, do you remember this much hype around Michael Jordan's kid?
No, Marcus stunk.
Does this happen? Did this happen? Is this locked in? I don't know if he's saying that like that's his projection or that really happened because Brett's been pumping some news out.
No, because Michael was realistic and told his son that he sucked probably.
No, I mean he was a D1 kid. He just couldn't make it.
Everyone wants marketing in Philadelphia. I don't get it. Adrian wants marketing too. He's a Sixers fan. I don't like marketing in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I don't think that's a move. I think you need a wing. You need a wing that can score.
Yes. I said his prediction. Okay. All right. The last one is Jimmy Butler.
Miami.
You stayed in Miami.
I think he gets traded. I don't know where. And I think that that might be like if Paul George signs with the Warriors or re-signs with the Clippers, I think the 76ers go all in, trade for him, and max him 4 years to give him exactly what he wants, and they reunite Jimmy and JoJo. And I would not hate that for the next year.
I would absolutely hate it. So you're all right, let's just be 100% honest here. Okay. We all agree, no matter what you think about Toby as a player, the contract was bad. We are now finally free of that. We're going to give him another max to a 35-year-old guy that's been hurt the last 2 years.
Just so you know.
Man. Come on.
There's a difference between Tobias Harris and Jimmy Butler.
Bodies are bodies, bro. Bodies are bodies.
No. In the game's on the line, Jimmy Butler's not running away from the basketball.
Yeah, as long as he's in the game.
Hey, listen.
I
watched Jimmy Butler take Boston down 2 out of 3
I will
years.
say this. We maxed him at 35 years old for another 4 years. By the end of that contract, we'll regret it just as much as the Toby shit.
Now that I agree with. I think Jimmy Butler is talent-wise, you'd have to win a championship within these first two years.
1 year.
I think it's two.
You look at the last 2 years, man. It's just typical stuff that happens to mid-30-year-old players, dude. It's a toe, and instead of being out for a week,
I'm scared of that. That's why he said that. Kyle is scared of the 76ers getting Jimmy Butler. That's what he don't want. He don't want that. Matt Godfrey doesn't want it either. Goes to Christmas past.
Past.
What up, though? My man Tim Todd's in the chat. Always checking in. Love Tim Todd.
Kelsey, I've seen no lies.
Cottrell does have the best smile, though, Kelsey. You're right. Sure, his wife
isn't Timmy Todd a Tennessee fan?
What'd you say?
Isn't Timmy Todd a Tennessee fan?
No. Timmy Todd's one of my best friends in the whole world. He lives in Northeast Philly. He actually is a Duke fan. He has a JJ Redick jersey.
You're talking about
15 years ago.
Joseph Jeffers.
Yeah, he's talking about Joseph Jeffers.
Well, Duke sucks, so screw you, Timmy Todd.
He's a Duke fan.
I hate Duke.
I know you're an UNC guy. Well, you're
That's not even that. I just hate Duke.
Yeah.
All right. Well, understand that.
Anybody else you guys want to bring up on free agency or like? I feel like the top 15 free agents I kind of skipped a lot.
So outside of free agency, like draft tonight, and I get it, weaker class, whatever. You guys have, you get Maxey in the draft. Maxey was obviously a great pickup for you. Is there anybody that you are hoping that the Sixers can have a shot at tonight? Because, for me, for the Cavs that pick 20, I want Terrence Shannon Jr. I think that he's going to be one of the best non-lottery picks in this class. He's a guy that can create his own offense. I think he could be a piece that gives you impact immediately. Next season, I think he can be a rotational piece for you. Is there anybody that you guys can see going to Philly that can actually be a valuable piece for him next year?
Yeah, Keyshawn George, the big two guard from Miami. I think he would be perfect in that system to basically take that DeAnthony Melton role. I think he can walk into that, work up into that. I really like him. He's a 6'7", 2'3". They play him at the guard at Miami, but he can play both. He plays defense. I know you know about Keyshawn George, but just for anybody listening at home, I think he's a perfect fit for the 76ers.
If somebody called me about that pick and offered me a pick swap for next year for it, I would sign it in a heartbeat.
That's fact. I would too.
I don't hate that though.
What
Nick Reyes just put in there.
As a Knicks fan, if they keep the picks, I hope Eddie drops. Edie. I think Edie's a big stiff. that when there's physicality that happens in the NBA, I think.
Yeah, but I think when you're playing them, I think it's a difference playing them 18 to 20 minutes a game as opposed to having them being your starting big, though.
He's got a question for you, Bill. So what makes you happy? Because you always look mad.
I'm always happy.
Obscure sports.
Yeah.
So obscure. Well, we're gonna have some fun tonight with
them. You're gonna spend as much time with Gene every week as I do. You wouldn't be happy.
Wow. You don't have to, Sarah. You opted to play on my softball team, and you asked me to be a part of the podcast when I was starting it. Now, 4 years later, you're regretting it?
He's like, too much Gene.
That's some revisionist history right there.
That's not. Now, I'm super happy about it. I can sit here and admit that I'm happy about the foundation that me and Shally have built together. I don't have to sit. I don't hide our friendship, Shally.
I don't hide it.
You hide it.
I just don't like you.
Jesus.
I'm just kidding.
Don't like you. Wow. Anything else NBA before we move off?
How do you really feel about the Knicks giving up 5 number ones for like Tobias Harris Jr. though?
No, don't call him Tobias Harris Jr.
But
he's not.
Yes.
No, he's a much better defender than Tobias Harris. Not. Yes, he is. Mikal Bridges is a top 5 forward perimeter defender in the NBA. There's no doubt.
You said that because I thought the same thing, and then I looked everything up today, and he's not.
He is.
I agree that he's a better defender than Toby, but
and
dude, bro, look up their career numbers across the board. They're within like 0.2 in everything. It's mind-boggling, actually.
Bro, every time you do this, I look it up. I'm right.
I have them all written down if you just want to go over them.
Okay.
Perfect.
You have them all written down. He averaged 27 points a game last year, shooting 37.5% from 3. What has Tobias Harris ever done that?
Career. I said career numbers. He did it for 1 year.
He's done that before.
He's done it. Yeah, he's done it before, and he did it for 1 year because he was the guy in Brooklyn. He won't average that next year in New York.
Tobias Harris averaged 20 points one time in his life.
How many times has Bridges done it?
Bridges did it twice, last year and this year. Or like 23 and 24 and 22, 23. And he's a career 38% 3-point shooter.
37.5. Toby's 36.8.
Okay.
Free throws are within a point. Better rebounder. Assists are within 0.2 of each other. It's just across the board. It's funny. I saw a thing on Twitter about it. It says like, you know, the old blind thing, like player A, player B, and then you go down and read what it is, and you look at their career statistics, and they're identical.
Yeah, but Tobias Harris was in his like 12th season when they signed him.
Not true. Tobias is only 31, and Bridges is older than people think he is. He's
Tobias Harris played. Oh, he played for multiple teams. That's why there's listed for so many.
He's played 11 seasons. Bridges played 7.
Yeah. I think Bridges is a better player than Tobias by a lot. I don't think it's really close, but
numbers would say otherwise.
I think that this is like one of those things that like you watch the players play basketball and you know who's a better basketball player. Like I think that the whole thing of you defending Tobias Harris all year and then being dead wrong about him down the stretch, like that plays into that.
I think it became. Again, dude. I don't blame him for the contract. Like if somebody offers,
no one blames him for the contract.
I mean, you do. You blame.
No, I don't. I blame the 76ers for offering it.
But he just became an awful fit for that team. If you look at how he played before we got him, that's what he's capable of doing. I'm pissed that we didn't get that player all the time. I agree with you on that. But to call him a shitty player is just not accurate. Like that's not what he is.
What's a shitty player? If scoring 0 points in an elimination game in a playoff isn't a shitty player, what's a shitty player?
What did I just say?
He's a shitty player.
He's not a shitty player.
He is.
The shitty fit for us. He'll go to Detroit and he'll average 18 points a game next year.
On a terrible basketball team.
Okay.
I think
what did Bridges do this year on a terrible basketball team?
Yeah, you walked yourself into that.
I did walk into that one. That's accurate. But Mikal Bridges was a contributing factor on a Phoenix Suns team that went to the NBA Finals. Tobias Harris has never been that.
That is a fact.
So I walked myself in it, but I walked myself right the hell back out. Just saying. Anything else basketball?
think it's crazy because in an alternate universe, you could have probably had Mikal Bridges and Tobias Harris on the same roster.
Yeah, not an alternate universe. In a universe that didn't have Brian Colangelo. That guy, I'm telling you right now, that guy should be tarred and feathered outside of the he's the worst general manager ever. He traded Mikal Bridges for a guy that doesn't play basketball anymore. Do you remember his name?
Zaire Smith.
Zaire friggin' Smith. He played for the 87ers in Delaware. He stinks. They traded Mikal Bridges for Zaire Smith. They traded Jason Tatum for Markelle Fultz. Like, the amount of things that moron did in Philadelphia, when Sam Hinkie left Philadelphia, the 76, you could have ran them better. Elton Brand and Brian Colangelo should go somewhere together and be tarred and feathered. Throw stones at them.
Jesus.
They did the worst job ever. Ever.
Stoning people to death.
Oh, man. I am having a heart attack. You're right. Brett Brown gets blamed as well. Fine. He's not a GM. It's Brett, too.
I mean, Brett Brown coached what he had to coach.
Exactly. And no one complained about Brett Brown when they were literally trying to lose, and he was having guys come off the bench that were just playing their asses off that shouldn't have been on NBA rosters. But what happened was we deferred to Ben Simmons instead of Jimmy Butler, and it's like it's Brett Brown's fault. No, it's not. It's the organization's fault for kissing that guy's ass. I was right about Ben. I was right about Toby, and I'm right about this.
I don't even know what the argument is anymore here. I don't know what you're right
my
about.
player sucks is what the argument is. Anything else NBA? I'm getting my blood pressure up right now. Nothing else NBA.
Nothing.
Let's get an MLB midseason awards before your stupid draft tonight with a bunch of players that aren't going to mean shit in 3 years. I just wanted to get fun there. That was fun to me. I just wanted to say that part. Let's add the media source. Why don't we do that before we click off? God damn it!
No, now we're gonna get angry Gene for the rest of the show. Now,
no, you're not. I'm kidding. Ben was misunderstood. You know, there's a stat on BetUS of will Ben Simmons retire before the 2024-2025 NBA season? That's where we've come.
What are the odds?
It's minus 500 that he wouldn't. But
he's gonna get traded to a title contender.
And he's what? A defensive specialist? He's Bruce Bowen.
That's exactly what he's gonna do, though. He's gonna be a specialist for defense, and they're gonna have him come in, be their backup point guard and guard whoever is best player. Not expecting to score, not expecting to do anything.
Trade to a contender that wins a ring before we do.
Oh, I'll lose my
and then he takes his subtle passive aggressive shot at the Sixers at like the parade, and I'm just gonna log on here and wait for Gene's head to explode.
100%. I root for terrible things to happen to that man. Him and Antonio Brown can go somewhere together.
I mean, that's a different kind of person, but
Ben Simmons took a picture of the 76ers getting okay, well, let's get into their MLB awards. Look at this, right?
I already knew where we were about to go. I already knew where we were going here.
Control enough.
Right. Rookie of the Year, National League. It looks like we're all on the same page here. It's funny because the midseason awards, he probably doesn't deserve the midseason award, but like the way I looked at it, and I assume the way you guys looked at it was he's gonna win the NL Rookie of the Year. So why not like give him the midseason award because he's been that good for Pittsburgh?
I just look at it at all the other guys in the NL. I think a couple guys are having decent seasons as rookies. I think in the short time he's been there, he's had the most impact. I think he's been the most impactful. He's automatically their number one already. He's can't miss baseball right now. If he's pitching, go watch a Pirates game. It's special. It's something different to watch. It's all of a young Roger Clemens, Randy Johnson, any of those guys you want to throw out there. That's the league that he's in right now.
I love this comment. Mustache is trash.
Who said that?
Chelsea. It's funny.
Well, Livy Dunn likes it, so he's doing all right.
This is a fact.
He better be in the All-Star game. If you guys didn't pick schemes, did you guys have like I had a backup? I was going to use Joey Ortiz.
I knew I was going Skeens. This isn't one of the ones I picked a backup for.
I didn't pick a backup for, and Gene, you're probably right. He probably doesn't deserve it as of right now, but I mean, for me at least, the writing has been on the wall. I think he's been not only the best like story as a rookie, but what he's been able to just come up and the immediate impact that he's had for this Pittsburgh team. I mean, again, I think the writing's on the wall for me. Like, I think he was obviously like the biggest name with him being number one overall pick. So that plus what he's already done, I just had to give him the award for now.
It's fair.
For all the bettors out there, I'll make this easy for you. If he doesn't get hurt, knock on wood, I hope he doesn't. If he pitches the rest of the year at the level that he's pitching at now, come end of August, you're not going to be able to bet on Rookie of the Year anymore. It's going to be off the board because it's going to be him.
I love this. Ben Simmons plays 1 week in a month like the National Guard. I love it. All right, what's next on the agenda? That's AL Rookie of the Year. It's pretty easy. I mean, this kid's been unbelievable. This is a no doubt about it. I think it's more of is it him versus the field, right? I mean, who else in the American League would Wyatt Langford maybe if he continues to hit the way he's been hitting the ball this past week, but this kid's been unbelievable.
The only thing that I could see hurting him is the most innings he's ever pitched in a year, I think, was 96, they said. With Cole back, if that rotation gets healthy, they technically have 6 guys. I think you're going to see them start to skip him every once in a while to kind of save his arm. And then it would depend on, like Gene said, what Wyatt does down the stretch. So that could hurt him. I think they're going to limit him. The last thing they want to do is this kid to suffer an arm injury this early in his career. So they are absolutely going to monitor how much he throws down the stretch. So that's the only thing that I could think that really slows him down or possibly loses the award for him.
They are
on the flip side, but the flip side of that though is, similar to what Gene said, the rest of the field though, I mean, outside of Wyatt, I mean, you're pretty empty there. Like, at this point, I don't think anyone is even relatively close. Like, even the guy who, one of the guys that we were like super excited about preseason in Jackson Holiday, like he's come up, we've seen him struggle and now he's hurt too. So like, even if, he was able to come back post All-Star, like it's going to be a steep hill to climb for a lot of these guys, regardless.
100%. I'll tell you a guy to look out for. And just because he's had a great season out of the bullpen, he won't pass Gil, but Mason Miller from Oakland, he might get traded trade deadline. And if he gets traded to a team of any value, I think that you'll hear his name a lot more. He's been really good out of the bullpen for the A's.
Baltimore is going to be in on him big time.
Okay, so this is a fun one. AL Cy Young, we got to watch him up close and personal just yesterday.
Yeah.
Tariq Skubal has been absolutely unbelievable for the Detroit Tigers. The only argument you can have here, and this is projecting, not the first half, this is projecting, is that the Tigers will be out of the race and they might shut him down or he might get traded to an NL team. But Skubal's been the best pitcher in the American League right now.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. There's no shot he's getting traded, by the way. But Corbin's been kind of, he's tough. His record really isn't indicative of how he's pitched. He had 2 or 3 games at the beginning of the year where he let up like 2 earned runs and they lost because Baltimore wasn't really hitting real well at the beginning. And now they're smashing the ball all over the place. He's having a little bit of if you just look at him on paper, he's having a little bit better year than it looks like on paper. But I would have a hard time giving it to him over Skubal right now.
It's funny because the guy I was debating on back and forth was Tanner Houck.
Yep.
Oh, that's not who I thought you were going to say. Seth.
See, he's fell off, man. He's really fell
off. He has,
off.
But I mean, still numbers wise, total.
He's still low twos,
right there. Yeah. Like all these guys in reality are ERA wise, they're all in the same ballpark. For me with Corbin, I was looking at one. He was my preseason pick, so wasn't going to go off of that. And I think he's well within this race. And then 2, I mean, I think he is, the ace on this Baltimore Orioles team that, Gene, I know you said this isn't like the projectionist, side of things here. Detroit is going to fall off. Baltimore's been very consistent. I think that's going to play a big part. So ultimately why I wanted to roll with Corbin.
I get it. I'm not like, listen, Corbin probably has a better chance and might have better odds to win the award just because the situation that he's in. But if we're doing mid-season awards, there's no way I can justify having Corbin ahead of Tariq Skubal. What do we got next? NL Cy Young. Oh, look at that. Look at that. By the way, just let me make something very clear. Cottrell text messaged me earlier after I sent him my awards. And he goes,
we're not even there yet. We're not even there yet.
No, I get it. But I said, this person's my third favorite player on the Phillies. And he goes, who's your first 2? And I said, Ranger Suarez and Bryson Stott are my 2 favorite players on the Philadelphia Phillies. I love Ranger Suarez. I've loved him now for 2 years. I cannot wait till they open the checkbook up and sign him long-term. He's everything I want in a pitcher. He's low profile. He's got ice water in his veins, and I love that he's coming into his own this year.
I gave away your MVP pick then.
Okay. You know,
yeah. I mean, listen, the kid's as cool as they come. They're trying to lock him up right now. Dombrowski was talking about it the other day after they were talking about the Sanchez deal. They're not going to let him go anywhere. The kid has taken the kind of the breakout star step this year. To where everybody in the National League knows about him now, not so much just Philly fans and NL East people. I mean, the kid's he's going to be a star. Great personality. Like Gene said, he's low profile, but he gets the fan base too, and his fan base loves him. So he's absolutely deserving. He should be your All-Star game starter, and he's definitely the midpoint Cy Young Award winner.
Agree with everything.
Way, me and him are Nick. Me and you are on different planets.
The only other thing I add with Ranger is you kind of. I'm not going to say you saw a Cy Young season necessarily coming from him because I don't think anyone did. But with that said, you saw how he wasn't afraid of the moment. Every time in the playoffs, he was game. If you closed your eyes and you weren't able to see who the pitcher was, you couldn't tell a difference if it was Zach Wheeler out there or Ranger Suarez in the playoffs. Like, he was that good in the playoffs. So I think it's been great for him to make this stride this year. And, I think with that Phillies team behind him, the way that they've been hitting the ball as well, like, I think this will be Rangers' award to lose. And the crazy part is I think down the line, the guy he might lose it to is probably going to be his teammate if he does lose it.
That's so accurate because it's him and Wheeler. I think him and Wheeler and then Glasnow are your 3 NL favorites. And then we got MVP. That looked like a heart. I know it was loading, but that looked like a heart right on. Okay, so this is interesting. I think Aaron Judge gave the entire league a 1-month head start, and he is clearly the MVP of the American League. So what I want to hear is how I have 2 other guys. Like, one guy's not even going to start on the All-Star team, picked his MVP in Bobby Witt Jr. And Gunner's had a great year, but I don't know how we're putting him ahead of Aaron Judge right now. Is that Yankee hate? Is that what that is?
No. I mean, I think he plays shortstop, plays the hardest position in the field. Actually has a higher WAR than Aaron Judge right now. I think when it's all said and done, I think Baltimore is going to win that division. And I think that's going to matter come down the stretch. I think it's going to be really close. And I think Aaron Judge is going to lose votes to Juan Soto as well. So I like Gunner.
And then for me, what Bobby Witt Jr. has been able to do this year for that Kansas City Royals team, not only with him, like just hitting for average, things like that, but stealing bases and his ability to just manufacture runs with that Kansas City Royals team. I value that a lot for him. His defense has also been a lot better from where it's been at in the past. And I get it, right now the votes most likely to go Gunner's way, but I do think a part of that is the Orioles are winning at a higher clip than what Kansas City is. And I think they have a bigger fan base. So, of course, fan vote being that as it may, I think these two could be very interchangeable for who starts. Like, I don't think you could have a serious gripe if Bobby Witt Jr. was the guy that started at short over Gunnar here. I think those guys are interchangeable. As far as like the Aaron Judge thing goes, he's definitely one of the guys I consider for this as well. I just think it'll be interesting to see numbers wise where he ultimately ends up. I don't think he's done enough for me just yet for me to say for sure he's over here to make me forget about, the slower start.
The one to watch on here is Bobby, though. I've said it before and I'll say it again. The Yankees are going to be a playoff team with or without Aaron Judge. Baltimore will be a playoff team with or without Gunnar Henderson. If Bobby Witt Jr. continues to put up the numbers that he's putting up and that Royals team somehow makes the playoffs, the momentum he will have at the end of the year, I would not be surprised if he passes everybody.
I think it's crazy that Aaron Judge had as bad an April as he has, and he still leads the league in home runs, RBIs, and he's batting .304. And yeah, you're right. His WAR is like a 1/10 of a point less than Gunnar Henderson's.
He's 5'3", Gunner's 5'6".
It's 5'6" and 5'8". I just looked it up.
Overnight though.
It might have, but that's what it is right now. But that's okay. I just think that Aaron Judge giving the whole league a month head start and batting 118 and having 4 home runs in April and now having 29 with 75 RBIs is insanity. And I'm not a Yankees fan, by the way. I'm not at all.
It doesn't matter when you get them. It's all going to be dependable on where you end up.
Oh, Bill, I'm so unhappy with you.
Listen, if you're going right now, and literally he's my second pick. The way he has entered the race and he is catching Ohtani at a very, very quick pace. But if you went off right now, for me it's Shohei. Do I want Bryce to win? Absolutely.
I just think it's funny how defensive position only matters when it's the other way, whereas Bryce Harper plays a position and Shohei's essentially just a DH.
Like, if you say it didn't matter, I wasn't discrediting Judge. I just said Gunnar plays the harder position out of the two. I didn't say that Aaron Judge doesn't play shitty defense or anything. Gunnar Henderson plays shortstop. That's all I said.
It's fair. I know Cottrell's got Shohei, but I'll tell you right now, the way Bryce Harper's hitting, he's the best player on the best team, and he plays a position in the field. So as long as that continues for everything that we're doing, MV3 will reign once again.
But I just think it's funny how, like, literally almost everything you said about Aaron Judge is true for Shohei over Bryce in the situation, but you went with Bryce.
Judge plays in the field.
I get that, but Bryce, you didn't talk about like Judge's ability to field, like when we made the argument for him over Gunnar or Bobby.
Gunnar is the better fielder.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, I'm saying you didn't bring up defense at all. You didn't even say like, oh, well, Gunner's the better fielder. So like, I can understand why he's there. Like, defense didn't matter then, but now like we're kind of just sliding it in there. And then I'm not even saying that it doesn't matter, but just looking at their numbers, I mean, Shohei's got a whole point higher in WAR. He's got more home runs. He's got more RBIs. He's got a better batting average. Like, that's just kind of where I'm at right now, and it's just funny how like that mattered for Judge, but like it's not mattering for Bryce. And I get it. He's your guy. Like I wouldn't expect anything less here, but like just coming off of the conversation that we just had about Aaron Judge, like it's ironic.
I think Shohei's betting on himself to win MVP.
Somebody is.
Some other guy they're going to send to jail.
Maybe it's Yamamoto.
I mean, the problem is Bryce is red hot right now, but so is Shohei. Shohei 10 home runs and counting in June so far. They're both kind of heating up at the same time, but it's going to be interesting down the stretch because I think what team finishes with a better record and is overall the better team, I think will matter. I think the Phillies, if they do lock up the number 1 seed, that's going to go against Shohei. And then obviously I think he's, whenever Mookie comes back, I think some people are still going to vote for Mookie. So
I think that you'll find out that a lot more people like Bryce Harper when the voting comes.
You got a lot of people that are in love with Ohtani, bro.
I get it. All right.
Well, what you do? I would love to see him win another one.
He's gonna. Don't worry about it. I already got a book for you. He's definitely gonna. And he does play the position in the field. Next year, Shohei's gonna win it again because he's gonna pitch. But this year, it's Bryce Harper's.
I don't think anyone cares about playing a position in the field for the MVP vote.
They 100% do. Yeah, over year after year after year, that's always come up.
Yeah, but you're talking about Shohei, who's going to have insane. Like, it's different when you have like 35 home runs, 105 RBIs,
the difference in home runs is
average.
4. The difference in RBIs is 6, and the difference in batting average is 15 points.
So you think if it ended right now, like the way their numbers
Bryce Harper would win the award.
Bryce is your MVP.
Yes, 15 points, 4 home runs, and 7 RBIs is not the difference between playing a position in the field and playing it pretty well for a guy that's like literally never played first base up until last year. Playing it well. It does matter. His defense.
I'm saying it does. I'm saying it doesn't matter about this being his first year playing first. Like that, they're not taking.
I'm saying he's playing a good. I didn't expect him to be this good defensively at first base. I did not expect that at all. Listen, he's making Moneyball look like it's right. First base is not the moon. Just go play first base. Hatterberg's over there picking machine.
Yeah, the ball he missed yesterday was probably one of the first really like.
Sportsbook odds are almost even. Shohei's the slight favorite. I'll give it to you right now, though.
It's close.
It's very close. I think Shohei's minus 125. Shohei's minus 125. Bryce is plus 200. That's exactly what it is right now. I was literally spot on. I checked it for you. Got your big dog. It's 8:10, guys. We're past 8:09. We're past 8 o'clock. It was supposed to be trivia time, and we haven't gotten into it. So now is trivia time. Let me throw the ticker up there. Someone will have a little bit more trivia time. I got one. I'm on the board. Trivia time.
All right, so here we go. We're gonna go baseball. It's a fitting segue right into trivia.
I like that. Little odds advantage here.
Now listen carefully.
Oh, jeez.
It's going to be the top 10 most Major League All-Star game selections. Now, there's more than 10 names because obviously some people have tied with different numbers. So there's a lot of answers this week's question, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
I hate that.
Now we're going back to the strike system right here.
Yes, I'm keeping track.
No strikes. With that many names,
there's too many.
With that many names, it shouldn't be a strike system.
So I'm gonna be 100% honest with you, for both of you, Gene especially. There's I think like 23 total.
So we gotta have strikes.
19 of them you guys should like rattle off. There's 3 or 4 that if we get down to the nitty-gritty, you guys might struggle with at the end.
I hate the strike system. Like, because
you came up with the strike system.
I did, and I was wrong for it.
And then it backfired, and then he won last week without it.
So now he hates it. Exactly.
I was wrong for it. All right, fine. Whatever you guys want to do. Bill, it's your trivia question day. I'm retweeting this one more time.
Gene, you are coming off the win. You have the choice to go first or second.
Nick Reyes, this is most all-star selections by a single player throughout their career. And Bill said there's at least 23 guys because a lot of guys are tied with the same number.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
I hate this question. I really
25.
All right. Do you want me to go first or second, Control?
It's your choice. Hey, you're the defending champ.
Well, it's strike system. So if it's a strike system, it makes sense for me to go second because Control have to rattle off more names.
Okay. Go second.
Okay.
All right. My first name, I'm going to go with Ken Griffey Jr.
He's on there.
Ken Griffey is on here. Where is he? Somewhere.
I'm gonna have a very strategic approach to this. I'm gonna go guys that played a long time. So I'll start with Cal Ripken Jr.
He is on there.
Now, did either one of us get number 1?
No.
Okay.
I am going to also go. I'm going to go with Albert Pujols.
Albert Pujols is not on this list.
That's a strike, baby. That's a strike.
Okay.
I don't think you'd have this question the week after Willie Mays died if Willie Mays wasn't on the list.
Willie Mays is number 2.
Okay.
See, the problem here is there's so many like all-time greats that played baseball, but like I don't know.
Can I give you a hint? I don't think there was an all-star game before. I don't think there was an all-star game before 1945. So if you want to go with all-time greats, you might actually hurt yourself going further back.
That is a sound piece of advice, is all I will say.
Just trying to help. I feel like I have the home court advantage.
I'm saying I wouldn't have went back that far. But
there's guys that like.
There's older guys, definitely.
Yes,
but I don't
there's
think
older guys on this list, but like really old guys. Like if you know your eras, like I'm not going to mention names, but there's some giants of the game that are not on this list.
Fair. All right. So my next guess here, I'm going with Barry Bonds.
Barry is on here somewhere. Yes.
I'm going to go with the captain. Give me Derek Jeter.
Derek Jeter is on here as well.
All right. And I'm going to follow up Nick Reyes here. I believe Mariano Rivera should be somewhere on this list.
That's a good one that I thought might take a while to get to. He is on.
Nick Reyes put it in the comments.
Yeah, and I agreed with him. Hey, you took the captain. I took
Mariano. The Derek Jeter one. I was not looking at the comments for that. Trust me.
Don't do comments right now because there's a lot of big ones like left. Like wait till they're like both at 2 strikes.
Okay, that's fair. Give me Hank Aaron.
Hank Aaron is number 1. 4-3 Gene. Cottrell has 1 strike.
All right. I am gonna go with. I feel like we got to get some more pitchers on here. I'm gonna go with. But then it's also a lot of hitters too. This is it's not tough, but there's so many names that I want to throw out. Let me go through. I'll go with Alex Rodriguez.
He should be on there.
He is.
Yep. Give me the scumbag, Mr. All-Star Game himself, Pete Rose.
He's on here.
Yeah, I know. I know he was because Pete Rose took pride in that shit.
17 All-Star appearances for Pete Rose.
Oh, it's a lot. What's the low number? Can you tell us the low number?
13.
Okay, that makes it helpful, right? That's helpful.
There's 4 guys that had 13. You already got one of them, and then there's 1, 2, 3.
Who was the one that had 13?
Rivera.
Oh, okay, good. So it wasn't one I guessed. I'm just making sure.
Yeah. There's 7 guys at 14, 5 guys at 15, 1 at 16, 2 at 17, 2 at 18. Coincidentally, are probably the 2 that I think you guys are going to struggle with the most. And I was shocked about one of them, even when I looked it up. 19, 2 guys at 20, and then Hank Aaron at 21.
Okay.
5-4 Gene. Cottrell has 1 strike.
Okay. Like the hitters.
You guys are just I'm literally just retweeting our Twitter. Just so at home if they think I'm cheating.
You're an honest man.
I am. I could see people looking down at my phone. I'm just fired up. I'm ready to go. I'm pre-workout. I'm ready.
Let's go back out to the
field. A lot of enormous names on this list, though.
I know. Yeah.
Like enormous.
Yes. I'm so scared about one of them.
Sammy Sosa.
No.
Oh, he's not on there.
Nope.
No. He only had like an 8-9 year real prime. He had a great prime, but he had only a very small prime.
Yeah, just with steroids and cork bats.
Give me Tony Gwynn. That's an easy one.
Tony Gwynn is on here.
See, I saw that in chat. I was going to stay away from it.
Bro, I'm literally going off dome. I promise you, I'm not.
Tony Gwynn's more me and Gene's generation, though.
Oh, dude, he's one of the cleanest hitters you'll ever watch. Right center field line drive. That was literally his calling card.
He's one of the best 5 or 6 pure hitters in the game.
100%. It sucks for Cottrell. Like the more and more I think about this list, there's probably not many recent players on there. Probably 3. Like I in my top of my head, I'm thinking 3. I'm trying to help you, Cottrell. I want to keep you involved. I want to rattle them off. And
more of them are older guys, but like there's, I would say out of what's left, there's probably only 2 or 3 that he's definitely heard of every other guy on this list.
See, the problem is that I keep thinking about guys like that I've seen make a ton of All-Star games. I just don't know if it's lasted long enough. Like,
Jesus, Derek. Derek's calling me a cheater. He said I have the list. I don't have the list.
I'll go Trevor Hoffman.
Oh my God, no.
That's strike 3?
Yeah.
Can I see how many I can rattle off?
Oh, I got names. Like I got plenty of names. I just
strike 3 for him, right?
I know.
That is strike 3.
Okay. So let me see how many I can rattle off.
All right. Well, let's still go back and forth though. Like you won. You won. But I don't want Cottrell just to sit there.
The Wizard of Oz.
Ozzy is on there.
That's a great look, Nick, that's a great hint for him. But he's got to think older catchers. I don't know, one of the greatest ones ever.
One's a little bit older. One has
a name next to a bear.
There
you go. You said it.
What?
That's got to be one.
Piazza on the list?
No.
Yes. No. I'm glad I didn't guess it.
He's not one of the 2 that's on here.
I would have guessed Piazza. Not thinking twice.
He definitely knows the one. The other one you both should get.
He's smarter than the average bear.
Is Cabrera on this list?
No. Miguel? No.
Yeah.
He's not eligible yet.
I thought he was talking about Melky.
No.
All right. I'll take Yogi Berra for 100, Alex.
Yogi is on here.
That's a good one. That's a good one that Nick just put up there.
2 more catchers. What?
Nick just put one up there.
He's one of the other catchers.
Yep. Use it.
Which makes a lot of sense.
I'll give it to Cottrell.
It doesn't matter.
Can I go? Listen, I did a whole book report on this guy because I went to a Polish school. I went to St. John Campus, and we.
Oh, you're going to get one of the good ones, I think.
And he was he's the last guy to hit for the Triple Crown, and it's Mr. Polish guy himself, Karl Yastrzemski.
That's one of the hard ones. Good job.
But see, you have to understand. I went to a Polish school, and we had to write a report about like a Polish person you like were a celebrity, not a celebrity, but like someone famous. And I loved baseball, so I wrote it on Karl Yastrzemski.
He's one of the guys that has 18.
And
the other guy is probably the hardest guy on here. I actually said his name, I think 2 weeks ago for something else, but I don't know if you guys are going to get him.
How many pitchers are on this list
that are left? One.
You can say whatever you want. We already won. You can say whatever you want, Nick. Do you want Nick to not say them in the comments?
No, go ahead.
All right, have fun. Yeah,
I think there's only one left. There's a couple huge. There's 2 just absolute enormous ones that I can't believe you guys haven't guessed.
Whoa, I haven't missed one yet.
All right, well, give me another one.
Stan Musial.
That's one of the better ones.
Yeah.
20.
It's like I haven't missed one yet.
Not one of the 2 huge ones, though.
No?
No. I mean, Stan Musial's a big name, but he's not a bigger name than the other 2 guys on here.
Okay.
Oh, Mike Schmidt. Is he one of them?
Schmidt is not one. The guy he gets compared to all the time is on here.
Brooks Robinson.
You. Brooks Robinson has 15.
I didn't. You can use the steroid addict. Did he use them yet?
What?
Did he use the steroid addict? He used Barry Bonds, right?
Yeah. He used Bonds. Bonds and A-Rod are both gone.
Okay.
It is astonishing to me that these two names have not been mentioned.
Okay. You're up, Kittrell.
I'm up when you said Barry Bonds.
Oh, no, I gave one, and then I said I was trying to give you another one.
Oh, I said allegedly. Get out of here.
What?
Alex Elmore.
What'd he say?
He said allegedly.
Oh, for steroids?
Steroids.
No, stop. Give it up, bro. There's 9 left.
See, prime wise, is Roger Clemens? Is he on this list?
Nope.
Did we say Ken Griffey?
Yeah, that was the first one I picked.
I forget at this point. Shit, I'm running.
Alex Ripken's already off the list. We already got him. He had 19
right away. Mickey Mantle.
There's one.
That's one of the two big ones.
Yeah, he had 16.
So I know who the other big one is. Then it's probably the same team.
Lou Gehrig.
I think the other one.
Lou Gehrig was
pre him and Babe Ruth wouldn't be on.
Lou Gehrig played with Babe Ruth. He played back in the 30s, early 40s.
I think the other one, Joe DiMaggio, would be the other one, right?
He's on here, but that's not. No, the other guy's a bigger name than him.
What the fuck am I missing? The way you're reacting is like this guy's like the greatest football player ever.
Wait till when you hear it, you'll be like, "Oh shit!"
I don't know who I'm missing. How many are left? I feel like I've rattled off 11 at this point.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, down to 7.
Okay, so like some of the ones I'm scared to name are really far back. Johnny Bench.
Johnny Bench is one.
Okay.
Down to 6.
I still have a strike though. That's fun.
What'd you say?
I still have a strike though. I don't have a strike.
You don't have a strike, you said?
No, I didn't miss one yet.
Huh.
What's that?
You have, but
I didn't miss one. Who did I miss?
You have.
Who did I miss?
Who did you say before I said Mike Schmidt, the guy you said wasn't on the list?
No, that's inaccurate. I told you that Piazza was a good guess for you when you said that. And I said I would name incorrect.
Somebody you said before. Okay.
I've not missed one.
Whatever you say, we'll run it back. I'll run it back.
Run it back. Run it back. You run it back. You find what I missed.
I got you. I will.
Come on, let's get the rest of these guys.
All right. I'm trying to think. Is Mike Trout on there?
No, he's got 11. He's close though.
Okay. There you go. I missed one.
Again.
Who else am I missing?
This is mind-boggling.
Reggie Jackson.
Reggie Jackson is on here. That's a great one. Reggie Jackson actually surprised me when I saw.
I'm thinking old Yankees at this point, bro. Can you give me a?
No, because as soon as I give you the hint, you're going to get it, and you're going to be like, "I can't believe I didn't say his name."
Is Ricky Henderson on this list?
No, he was at like 8 or 9, I think.
So the only person I can think of, you said there's one pitcher left.
Nolan Ryan.
That's what I was.
Not him.
That's a big name, but
yeah, there's only one, and he's more of an older guy.
Nolan Ryan is not on the list.
No,
he played like 105 years.
Nolan Ryan for his career, dude, is only like 30 games above 500. He's like crazy strikeout numbers and everything, but like he had some bad years.
Albert Pujols.
I said him already.
Okay.
It's one of Cachel's strikes.
Really?
Yeah.
I would have got a strike there. Well, at this point, we're at 8:30. It's over. Like,
all right, so I'll give you the team that they're on.
Okay.
Royals.
George Brett. I didn't say him.
Nope.
I should have got that.
This guy played for a gazillion teams.
Give Steve the team the most notable.
There's a couple. This is the pitcher. I'll skip him. I'll come back to him. Detroit Tigers.
K-Line.
Yep. Gene knowing his shit. Skipping the obvious one, which I'm still shocked we didn't get. This guy had 18. Played for the Pirates.
Is it Stargell?
Nope.
Oh, it's the friggin' I know exactly what it is. It's oh my god, it's they have like a stadium named after him. Oh my god, Roberto Clemente.
Nope.
You said Pirate?
He's a Pirate.
What the fuck am I missing? I have no idea.
Rod Carew.
That's a good one. I don't know why I didn't think Rod Carew. It's a good one. I already got you, Stremski. I'm a Pollock.
Warren Spa is the pitcher.
Okay, I wouldn't have got that.
Yeah, Kayleen. There's one guy left, and he's debatably the third or fourth best player on this list.
Oh, said Willie Mays.
Lefty.
Oh, Ted Williams.
Yep.
Oh my god! As soon as you said lefty, I'm like, you know what it was with Ted Williams? I kind of X'd out like that generation.
That is quite literally like when I said earlier, I was like, there's people like from that time, like Ted lost 3-4 years from the war or whatever. So I'm like, all right, like he would be up here.
I X'd him out.
But I literally just
I X'd out him, Ruth.
3.5 years to the war, and he still made 17 All-Star games.
That's so absurd.
Literally he crossed my mind, but I was like, nah, he's on this side of that line.
All right, so next week,
I was impressed,
bro. I know baseball, bro. Let me update this. Next week, Control, I have a question.
Yeah. How many dribbles does LeBron average per possession?
All right, we got to move on. We got a fun one. We got NFL. We did this fun. Listen, if you guys are paying attention, you guys are gonna have a little fun here. Bill, why don't you introduce it? While I pull my notes for.
All right, so this is what we did. We decided to have fun. We were going to be a little short this week, and everybody loves NFL talk. Let's be honest. So I saw a random article on ESPN saying it was all fantasy, like it was like all fiction or whatever. But the guy wrote like how realistically he could like make a compelling argument to have like 100 different NFL teams in the U.S. and everything. So I just came with the guys. I said, hey, let's do it for fun. You have to pick one team per division to add, and like geographically it has to make sense. And then you have to come up with their own nickname and everything too. So you could put them anywhere as long as it kind of makes sense. You can name them whatever you want. And we added one for all 8 divisions of the NFL. And I guess we're going to see what we came up with here.
I have my notes. What division are we going with first? I'll go first.
I'm curious to see if we have any of the same.
Let's start.
Anywhere you want to start.
We'll go AFC, then we'll do NFC.
Okay, AFC, west to east or east to west?
East to west.
I have the Maine Minutemen.
I like that.
For where?
For AFC East. The Maine Minutemen. I think Portland, Maine needs a football team. If I'm being completely honest with you, I think Maine, and I think that for the AFC East, giving them a rival close to New England, I think that would be the move.
See, I thought about the name Minutemen. UMass are the Minutemen. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to try and stay away.
Okay.
But what were you going to say, Bill?
I had the same line of thinking as Gene, actually. I wanted to break up the whole New England area and stop letting the Patriots just have fans from everywhere and having that unfair advantage. I didn't go Maine, though. I went to New Hampshire because they have no pro sports team. I think they would show up and support a football team. So I went with the New Hampshire Loggers.
The Loggers.
The Loggers.
I like it.
I think it's time for the NFL to expand a little bit. So I went up north. I went to Toronto. Give me the Toronto Mounties. Take over.
I'm the Mountie.
Take over.
Take over
that area.
Like
all right. So we'll go AFC North now. Control, you want to start here?
I'll start here. So I was thinking about this, like figuring out a team here, and a lot of the big time cities, they got 2 teams like in baseball, and they ultimately get 2 teams in football.
You're not
so I'm going to Chicago. They've had a lot of mediocrity with the Bears. They can't find anybody to pass the football over there. The Cubs and the Bears, Cubs, baby Bears. Well, guess what baby Bulls are? They're calves. I'm going with the Chicago Calves to run Chicago on the AFC side to split up the south side and the north side of Chicago yet again.
Okay. This is adding to your division, brother. I know exactly where I'm going here.
Same. So I really try to keep it tight geographically. You have Baltimore, Cleveland, Cincinnati, and Pittsburgh.
You're going to steal my city, you scumbag. I know exactly where you're going.
Great football state. They only have a college team to root for right now, though.
I hate you. I know exactly where you're going.
I'm going to West Virginia. Another, come playoff time, real gritty, cold, snow inside of a mountain. Just really great kind of football conditions. I'm going with the Morgantown Mountain Men to add to the AFC North.
You didn't steal where I was going. I'm in the same mindset. I'm going to go with Arlington, though. And I'm going to go with the Arlington Assassins to add to that division. In the middle of Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, and Cincinnati, I got the Arlington Assassins.
I like it.
I'll start with the South. And I went all the way down to Jackson, Mississippi. Ooh. And I have the Jackson Jackrabbits. They're going to be added to the AFC South to play with Jacksonville, Houston, Tennessee, and Indy, who's
Jackrabbits it could be an awesome mascot. I see a lot of merch sales there. Yep. Isn't somebody called the Jackrabbits, though?
South Dakota State, baby.
All right, that's fine.
It's college football.
You're fine. So I didn't go as far south as that, but same kind of thinking. Kentucky, stay there. I think they have rabid sports fans. They would obviously support a football team. In the South, a lot of natural rivalries with Tennessee, Nashville being right up the road. So I'm going with the Kentucky Moonshiners.
I like the Moonshiners. That's such a good move right there. By the way, Shepard went to Houston. Castle went to UConn.
See, I think Shepard to Houston.
He went to San Antonio, but he did go to UConn as well.
Sorry, you know.
Fun fact. I see. I did a lot of research here. I took this very seriously. Fun fact: the biggest city that doesn't have a sports team, San Antonio.
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
I'm going with the San Antonio Alamo because it makes sense. Get them a little rivalry with Houston, opposite sides of the state there.
Just to be clear, I was there. I was between Jackson, Mississippi, but there's so many teams in Texas. I wanted to get one in Mississippi.
Same.
I was there.
I stayed out of Texas.
Hey, you get it.
You lead us off in the West, and I know me and Bill have the same city because of what he said earlier.
We definitely don't. I promise you.
So mine.
This is my favorite one I'm about to do.
So this is also my favorite one because I'm thinking merch sales. I'm thinking bigger picture here.
This is my merch home run too.
So I'm going off the map here. I'm going all the way over to Hawaii. We got the Hawaii Bombers, and they're gonna have the highest powered attack Hawaii has seen since Pearl Harbor.
Oh my God!
Is that what he went with?
That's what we're going with.
The Hawaii Bombers?
Hawaii Bombers. High powered offense. Explosive attack on offense.
I feel like the NFL office is going to push
last week of Wire2Wire.
Yeah. Download everything now while you can.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus. Why don't you just call them the Hawaiian sunken battleships? Jesus Christ.
Oh my God.
All right. Well, on a lighter note, mine will not get us canceled. I went a little bit more north, but still going to be west, kind of like Colorado. It's going to be really hard to play there in the winter. Tired of this Chargers Raiders stuff where it's all 75 degrees all the time. I need another team like Denver where it's hard, it's cold, or Kansas City where it's cold. So I went north. State is blowing up the last couple of years. More and more people are going there. A lot of rich people live there. They will absolutely take a football team. I'm going, and this is merch heaven for me. I'm going with the Montana Glacier Bisons.
Okay. I like that. I think the Bisons already is selling you. So I also went with a two team name here. So I went with Portland, and I stole this from my man Kevin Mooney in our Madden League. So in the AFC West, I went with the Portland Golden Eagles. The Portland Golden Eagles of the Northwest.
Okay.
Now we'll start.
They kind of sound like an NFC West team, but I like it. AFC West.
I like what you're thinking.
Well, I didn't want to put them in the same division as Seattle. I wanted to have them.
Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense.
So
natural rivalry.
That's why I want them there, though.
No.
Natural geographical rival.
Like you have with Chicago in 2 different conferences. That's what I was thinking with Portland.
Philly and Pittsburgh. I like that. I like your thinking, Gene. I do.
Here comes my bad one.
Alex, I got one for you.
I got a bad one for you guys.
Your AFC. We're going NFC East.
Nico told me to stop saying bad words. I'm sorry, Nico. But we're going with the West, right? Go West to East here.
Oh, you want to go that way? Sure.
This is my one that I probably shouldn't have. San Diego's known for a lot of things, and I'm going to give them a football team again in the NFC West. I went with the San Diego Blaze, and they're going to be a fiery team.
That's fine. That's not where I thought you were going, so I'm fine with it.
I thought I'm thinking geographically here how South San Diego is.
Exactly what I was thinking. Well, here comes Gene's and be like, it's the San Diego Border Crossers. And I was like, no, can't do that either.
I definitely thought that's where we were going.
San Diego Blaze, the Wildfire.
San Diego Patrolman or something. I didn't know what we were going there.
San Diego Homeland Agents. All right. Where are we going? NFC West?
NFC West. Yeah.
NFC West.
All right. I'm going back to Portland because I think they deserve a football team. But I think geographically it makes more sense for them to be in the NFC. So I'm going with the Portland Lumberjacks.
Well, we have a same city. I was correct there.
Yeah, fine.
NFC West, I got a little boring here. I'm keeping it simple. We're going out to Idaho. We're going to give them a professional team. We see how they rally around Boise State. We're going to give them the Boise Boys.
Oh, that was terrible.
Yeah, keep it simple.
Just move on to the South. Move on to the NFC South. That was the worst one.
Just call them the potatoes or something at that point.
Boise Boys. NFC South. I got this one. This is another merchandise masterpiece here. We're going back to Texas. I got the El Paso Lassos, and their mascot's going to look very similar to New Mexico State.
How many teams are we going to put in Texas?
Their mascot's going to look like Border Patrol.
Yeah.
Have you seen New Mexico? Have you seen New Mexico State? New Mexico State's logo.
Yeah, a guy on a horse chasing a little drug dealer.
Lasso. El Paso Lassos.
Yeah, they're going to be rounding up to criminal illegals.
Yeah. This is off the rails.
They can play football. Hey, so be it.
It's been fun doing this podcast with you guys. We almost got to 200. We were close.
You're up. NFC South.
All right. I was gonna go to Alabama, but I think there's too much football there. Arkansas only has one team. They don't have any other professional teams. So I was going to go with the Little Rock, paper, scissors, but I thought that might go over a lot of people's heads. So instead, I'm going with the Little Rock Swamp Rabbits. Another great merch opportunity.
I'm giving the state of Tennessee a second team.
Ooh.
I think that, an NFC South, you have an AFC South team in Tennessee, and they're out in Nashville. I'm getting Memphis their own team, and I'm getting the Memphis Maniacs. And they're gonna have a little Maniac logo. They're gonna be red and black. I'm going Memphis Maniacs. And I'll start with the North. Now, this is a team I almost put in the AFC North, but because there's already 2 teams that are in the AFC North that are in the state of Ohio, I'm giving Ohio a third team.
Jesus Christ.
I'm giving Columbus their own team, and I'm going with the Columbus Red Wolves, a.k.a. the Wolf Pack.
It's interesting. Be a lot of red in Columbus.
That's the point.
We're not going to. Okay, North.
Yep.
So we got Michigan, we got Wisconsin, Chicago or Illinois, and who am I missing? Oh, Minnesota. Team that borders, or a state that borders all 3 of those. They only have college football right now. So again, I'm going back to, I think this state would be hugely into a professional football team. They have great fans. I'm I think this could be another good merch one. I like the name. I'm going with the Iowa Night Stalks.
Okay.
Gene,
I thought you were going with Dakota.
Nah, Montana Glacier Bison. I want them to have the fans from everywhere. More merch.
Gene, I loved your thinking there about the NFC North because great minds think alike. I also went to Columbus. I like your name a little bit better than mine. Kept mine kind of simple here. Didn't have much here for Columbus. Going with the Columbus Capitals.
Okay.
Ugh.
I don't like the name, but I like the spot.
Now for my NFC East team. You already mentioned Memphis, Gene. Again, great minds think alike. I'm sending them to the NFC East though. Let's kind of break up Dallas's journey all the way up to Philadelphia. Like let's stop kind of on the way in Memphis. And what is Memphis known for? They created blues and rock and roll. Give me the Memphis Rhythm to join the NFC East.
I actually like that name. I think it's your best name.
Hawaii Bombers 1,000% is the best.
The Hawaii Bombers name is going to get us canceled.
No, that's the best name I got.
Hawaii Bombers is not getting approved by the league office.
Second best, El Paso Lasso. That's genius. I don't care what you got to say.
I actually don't dislike the El Paso Lasso. That's all going to come down to what your decal is, though.
Bro, New Mexico State, we're basically stealing it.
It's fine.
All right, give me your NFC East team, shall we?
I hate this state, but I threw him a bone anyway. So
Same thing I did.
I'm going with Jersey here.
Oh no.
All they really have is the Devils. I mean, the Giants play there, but they're all just New York people that think they're too cool to say they're from Jersey. But that being said, I don't like New Jersey, so I gave them a kind of a stupid name. But I'm going with the New Jersey Pikers.
I thought you were going to go with the Camden drug dealers.
True. Camden cokeheads.
All right, I moved over to the great state of Delaware and gave Delaware a football team. I'm going with the Dover Destroyers out of Dover, Delaware.
That sounds like an arena football team.
Probably is.
I have no idea, but I'm just saying, like, I can see
there's
that.
ever one team that sounds like an arena football team, it's the El Paso Lassos.
In the comments, let us know your favorite new team. We have I have the Dover Destroyers, the Columbus Red Wolves, aka the Wolfpack, the Memphis Maniacs, the San Diego Blaze, the Maine Minutemen out of Portland, Maine, the Arlington Assassins, the Jackson Jackrabbits out of Jackson, Mississippi, and the Portland Golden Eagles. You want to read yours out one more time, Shao?
I got the New Hampshire Loggers, the Morgantown Mountain Men, the Kentucky Moonshiners, the Montana Glacier Bison, New Jersey Pikers, the Iowa Night Stalks, Little Rock Swamp Rabbits, and the Portland Lumberjacks.
Oh, see the people. I'm a man of the people. We got Derek Dempsey. He's getting behind the Lasso community. We got him roped in.
I actually like the Lasso one.
So do I. I like Lassos.
And we got Nick Reyes. He's down with Hawaii. He's going to be Hawaii's first fan. But to go over my list again here, we got the Chicago Calves. We got the Toronto Mounties, the San Antonio Alamo, the Hawaii Bombers out there in the AFC West. And then going over to the NFC, we got the Columbus Capitals, the Memphis Rhythm, El Paso Lasso, and the Boise Boys.
I love the Memphis Rhythm. That's my favorite.
I do like the Memphis Rhythm. I think that one is really
something down the wrong pipe, man.
Local.
All right, well, we got a UFC card that we got to kind of talk about for 5 minutes. It's another, I don't know, man. I guess I'm happy to see Yuri Prochazka and Alex Pereira fight, and Brian Ortega is stepping up again to the main card. He's fighting Diego Lopez. He's been a fight night guy for a little while. But let's talk about it. Let's talk about this UFC card that's happening this Saturday. We'll start with Diego Lopez versus T-City Brian Ortega. Cottrell, who do you like in this fight, Ortega or Lopez?
Personally, I like Brian Ortega to come out on top here. The biggest question mark with Brian Ortega in literally any single fight he gets in is how will his hands matchup as far as the striking goes. And I think Diego Lopez is going to be one that, just like every other Brian Ortega fight again, he's going to outstrike Brian. But I think T-City is going to be able to get this fight to the ground, make Diego Lopez uncomfortable in this one. And I like T-City by submission in the 3rd round.
Charlie, how you see this one?
Kind of similar to Patel, to be honest. I don't think Ortega can sit there and stand with him for 5 rounds. I think he will use his wrestling. I don't know if he submits him, but I think he takes him down a lot of riding time, a lot of control, a lot of ground and pound. I think he wins by decision.
So I think Brian Ortega, after coming back from his 2-year hiatus and getting a win over Yair, excuse me, holding it together right now. I think he's come back with a vengeance. However, Diego Lopes is also a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fighter, and he's a better striker on the feet. And I think his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu will keep him out of trouble from submission. And I think that Diego Lopes wins this fight by decision. So I'm going Diego Lopes in decision over T-City Brian Ortega. I just think that he'll be able to stop the takedowns. And I think that if the fight stays on his feet, I don't think he has enough to knock out Ortega, but I think he has enough to win rounds convincingly. I have 4-1.
I could definitely see that. The other thing I got to look up too, I don't know, because both of these guys took it on late notice, so I don't know if this is going to be a 5-round fight.
It might be a 3-round fight. If it's that, I like it even more for Lopes.
Ortega. You can go ahead and go to the next. I'm just going to look it up real quick.
The next one's Alex Pereira versus Yuri Prochazka. The last time these guys fought, Yuri gave him everything he can handle. I thought it was in my opinion, I thought like the first round was very fun. And then what ended up happening in the second round is Alex Pereira did what Alex Pereira does. If I'm not mistaken, in that fight, did not Yuri get hurt? I don't think he got knocked out cold. Didn't he get hurt in that fight, Cottrell?
Yeah, he got hurt. He didn't necessarily get knocked out. People at the end of it, Alex was definitely winning the fight as it happened. People thought it was an early stoppage in it. Prochazka came out afterwards, directly after, and he was like, no, it was the right decision. I was stunned, blah, blah, blah. And then a couple weeks later, he was like, I was just saying that to be able to say the right things, but I do think the ref stopped it a little early.
Okay.
And what they did in retaliation to that? They gave him Herb Dean. So now it's going to be a literal fight to the death. And, Herb doesn't stop shit early. So.
No, he doesn't. I still think it's the same overall fight. I think Alex Pereira is the stronger striker. And I think Yuri is too sloppy of a fighter to be able to beat Alex. I think you can avoid him with his he's very unorthodox. I think you can avoid him for a round or two, but because he, excuse me, guys, because he's so unorthodox, I think he walks into a lot of lefts and rights. I think Alex catches him again. I think it's a 3rd round knockout. I think this one's a little bit more decisive. I don't think there will be any calls for an early stoppage. So I'll take Alex Pereira in this one. I think it's by knockout.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be shocked if this fight doesn't end by knockout one way or the other. I'm going to go with Alex Pereira as well, though. I know the first fight was a little controversial. I also think Alex has actually improved a decent amount since their first fight. I think he's a little bit cleaner, a little bit more technical than he used to be. And he put you to sleep with both hands. And Yuri is very unpredictable. He's very unorthodox. But like Gene said, I also think that leads to a higher probability of him walking into one of these punches. And if he does, I think that's going to be a wrap. So I'm going to go Alex Pereira by knockout. I'm going to go 4th round, though.
If you guys have watched the show at all for any of the UFC topics that we've talked about over the last 4 years, Yuri Prochazka is my guy. I would be damned to pick against him in this fight here. I think this is the one that he's been looking forward to. I think he's learned from that first one, and especially with Herb being in there and allowing him to go out on his sword, I think he's going to go out there and do just that. I like Prochazka. I like him by knockout. I think these two exchange some crazy blows here. I honestly be shocked if this fight got to the third round. So either way, I think Alex has the ability to knock out Yuri in the second round, and I think vice versa the other way. So I'm going to go second round knockout for Yuri in this one. I think the biggest thing though is going to be, has Yuri learned how to at least check some leg kicks? Because Alex can destroy you with the leg kicks, and then he can knock your head off with the power that he has behind both of his hands. So be very interested to see how Yuri adjusts to that attack and getting chopped down, to ultimately see if he's comfortable enough moving forward to avoid those leg kicks.
I think it's anything you want to look at on the undercard, anything that you want to talk about on this card as a whole that you think that will be an interesting fight to watch out for any of our listeners. Another one of the cards I'm not really that excited to see. I think the Ian Gary fight versus Michael Page is the only one on the undercard I really want to watch. Yep. I can't believe Anthony Lionheart Smith is still getting fights in the UFC.
He was a late replacement. That's why.
I mean, I get it. Lionheart Smith should be retired. He's going into his 58th professional fight. It's a lot.
I mean, I think there's some names on here. Not necessarily saying like, hey, make sure you're in front of your TV for this one, but Michelle Waterson's fighting in this one. Cub Swanson's going to be on this card. Cub Swanson and Andre Billy is going to be. That'll be a good fight. I think it'll be a good fight. And then you mentioned Ian Gary and MVP. I think that'll be a fun one too.
It's another one. They got Andre Arlovsky on like the early prelims.
Bro, he's fought like 75,000 times this point.
Get him out of there, bro. Not a big UFC card right now, and I'm really upset at the way the UFC has kind of landed everything recently. I would not have put all my eggs in the Conor McGregor basket. I understand.
This card's totally different if that fight's going on now.
I disagree with that, Gene. Conor's never pulled out of a fight before, and he broke his toe. I mean, it was a valid reason. It wasn't just like antics from Conor.
Okay. Want to move on to You Got to Be Kidding Me? Not really much to talk about, right?
That's fine. I'm ready to rock and roll.
All right. Well, there's a lot of them this week, so have fun with yours.
All right. So mine's kind of fun. Not for the family involved, but this week I'm going with Kelly Stafford. Kelly Stafford decided to go on a podcast and just like jokingly talk about the college days from while they were at Georgia. And she brought up the fact that Matthew Stafford at the time was chasing her down. He really liked her, wanted them to date, all this stuff or whatever. And ultimately she put out there that at the time she was trying to make Matt jealous for whatever reason. And she was sleeping with the backup quarterback. I don't know why she went on there, said that unprovoked, but now everybody knows that's the case. And then afterwards, after all the backlash and stuff, she came out and she apologized to the backup's family. Apparently she didn't see anything wrong with it, like on Matthew Stafford's behalf, but she came out and apologized, to the backup quarterback's family. And it's like, I'm sorry we put you guys in the spotlight. And this actually wasn't the guy I was talking about at the time, but you guys have a great family and all this other stuff. It's like, Kelly, I get it. It feels like at some point during the off season or in the season in general, Kelly Stafford's name finds a way to get thrown out there and get talked about in the media. Like, I feel like she's probably the most known quarterback wife at this point outside of Brittany Mahomes and, because of the whole debacle with Taylor Swift. But for me this week, Kelly Stafford just finding her way to say some things that really just didn't need to be said. And now she's got her 15 minutes of fame again.
Kidding me.
Actually,
Derek said You Got to Be Kidding Me is the Hawaii Bombers.
Hold on. You might be on to something.
Yeah. On to another show because this one's over.
All right, you ready?
I'm ready. I'm waiting for Control to play my clip.
Oh yeah, I do gotta get your clip. Go ahead and explain it, Bill. Let me get it pulled up here.
Well, I want to explain it after the clip.
All right, so let me do this.
Y'all should do hockey teams next week. No. By the way, speaking of hockey, great Stanley Cup Finals comeback for Edmonton, but to come up short versus Florida.
Game 7 was great too. 2-1, low scoring, couple crazy scoring chances for each team. It ended up being a really good series. Sad for Connor to come back that far and fall short, but
not that he was hurt.
Yeah, great series though. NHL showed out once again.
All right, so I am getting the video queued up for you now, Bill. Give me 1 second here. We'll go ahead and do this.
I'm interested.
Bang.
To see what this is now. Oh, I know what this is. This is so great that you use this.
All right.
This is so ridiculous.
Today about a specific job opening. What do you have to say about your future in Aggie land?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty selfish of you to ask me that question, to be honest with you. But I left my family to be the coach at Texas A&M. I took the job at Texas A&M to never take another job again, and that hasn't changed in my mind. That's unfair to talk about something like that. That'd be like you asking Montgomery if he's going to sign in the draft. But I understand you got to ask the question, but I gave up a big part of my life to come take this job, and I've poured every ounce of my soul in this job, and I've given this job every single ounce I can possibly give it. So write that.
What the rumors circulate.
All right, so the audacity of all this is, so I'll give, if you haven't seen it yet, I'll give everybody a guess of what he did on Tuesday morning, and that was take the Longhorns job. But the fact that he goes off on this reporter as he's asking it, as he is sitting there, he already knows he's accepted the job to be the Longhorns coach. He knows he's leaving Texas A&M. That reporter's doing nothing but doing his job. He asked an honest question. He didn't pry. He didn't frame the question in an ignorant way or anything like that. The guy not doubles down, but triples down. I left my family for this. I poured my whole heart into this. I intend to be an Aggie coach forever. The guy already took the Longhorn job sitting there. He knew regardless if they won Game 3 Monday night in the College World Series against Tennessee, regardless of the outcome of that game, he was not coaching that team ever again. And to go off on that reporter like that and then sit there and say, write that, knowing damn well tomorrow morning the news was going to break that you were going to be the Texas head coach, it's one of the craziest, most ignorant press conferences I've ever seen. So for me this week, Jim Schnossnagle, oh God.
Kidding me.
Mine is a mixture between Major League Baseball and Edwin Diaz. Edwin Diaz, if you didn't see the other day, he for your standard, go out there and check the pitcher. He had a lot of sticky stuff on his hands. Whether it was rosin, sweat, and dirt, or whether it wasn't, is why the MLB is brought into this. Normally, when a player gets caught with sticky stuff on their hand, they take the glove, they examine the glove, they scrape the hand. If he has sticky stuff on the hand, they examine the substance on the hand. They didn't do any of that. They threw him out of the game and suspended him, and the umpire said it definitely wasn't rosin, sweat, and dirt. Like, it was definitely an illegal substance, and it was definitely something. But they didn't take any of it to tell the general public what it was. Now, in the pictures, you can obviously see his hands are doctored. And, like, that's very obvious in the photos and the still work. But what drives me nuts is this, right? Like, I mean, I think this just happened in the playoffs just 2 years ago against the Mets when, I forget his name, Musgrove, had stuff all over his ear, and it was the most obvious thing in the world, but no one checked. They checked, they're like, no, it's his ear's sweaty. It is what it is. Where I have a problem with Major League Baseball and Edwin Diaz is if you're going to eject somebody for sticky stuff, tell me what the hell it is. Take a strand of it. Find out what it is and be able to document what happened. Don't just say, I got to read you the quote because the quote drives me nuts. The quote is, it definitely wasn't rosin or sweat. We checked thousands of these. I know what that feeling was. It was very sticky. Okay, what was it? I know what feeling was. It was very sticky. Guys, for now what ends up happening is a guy like Edwin Diaz now can just sit behind doubt. No, I do the same thing every game. It's rosin, dirt, and sweat. That's what it is. It creates a way for me to grip the baseball. I don't understand why you can't take a sample and take the glove, because it's obviously going to be on the glove also, and check the glove and the substance. So for both reasons, because Edwin Diaz obviously cheated, which I think a lot of baseball players do. I just think he did it in a way where it was a lot, way more obvious. But
kidding me.
I guess
sorry, I jumped the gun. Sorry.
That's fine.
If you had anything else, feel free.
I hate how that plays out, because now you can sit there and be like, I didn't do anything wrong. I just wanted to get behind us. I'm not going to, but there's no proof of anything. I want to know what it was. But Chow, you still like you had something to say there. Did you have a thought on that?
No, I mean, I agree with you. I mean, if you saw the pictures, I mean, it was egregious, the amount of whatever it was on his hands. It was layered, you could see it. But no, I agree with you, because I mean, listen, the old spider tack they all used to use, that's banned now. They're allowed, like you said, they're allowed, rosin, whatever, blah, 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 blah. I agree with you, though. Guys are going to start trying to come up with different combinations of different things to skirt this rule. So to Gene's point, take a sample of it and find out what the hell it is. Correct. So everybody else can be aware, be like, hey, guys might be doing this now. You know what I mean? So I mean, again, it's baseball in full transparency. They're never going to go together in the same sentence.
And if you can see on the screen, that's his actual hand. And I'm trying to zoom in a little bit for you guys so you can see. That's definitely a doctored hand.
Yeah.
That's not a normal hand. That's not rosin and sweat. I just want to know what it is. So for that reason, you got to be kidding me this week. All right. So any final thoughts, gentlemen?
Just got some draft updates for you guys. So Zach Edey just went number 9 to the Memphis Grizzlies.
Terrible draft pick.
Rob Dillingham was selected 8.
I love that.
To the Spurs, but he was traded to the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Oh, I don't love that.
What? 2031 unprotected first round pick and a 2030 pick swap.
You send that pick back in 2 decades, it would be appreciated.
No.
Who did they take it for?
They took Stephon Castle.
Yeah, they took Stephen Castle. Yeah.
All
right. Well, if you want more NBA information, tomorrow night we have the N1 podcast with Brett and Mo, and they absolutely kill it. Super knowledgeable guys. They'll break down everything more of the draft. You want to hear more UFC talk? I know I blew through it tonight. You got 2 guys that absolutely do a great job breaking down UFC talk and Road to Gold. And if you want more MLB talk, make sure you tune in Sunday night to Up and In. Alex and Chris have done a great job with full baseball talk. They've had a great blind stack comparison this week of Ellie De La Cruz and Anthony Volpe. I thought that was really interesting. So make sure you tune in to Up and In. And if you really want to get more sports talk, because every day our morning show is pumping out great sports content. So check them out, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. daily. Thank you guys for tuning in to Wire2Wire this week. Shally, any final thoughts before I move forward?
No, I'm good.
Appreciate you. Appreciate everybody listening. Appreciate the 180 live listeners we have over at Twitter. Appreciate all you guys that have shared, your YouTube, Nick Reyes, Derek Dempsey, all you guys in the chat all night. And I know my man Nico's listening with Nick and the Hurtado family. Happy birthday to one of our best listeners. Shares us, likes us, Tiffany Hurtado. Her birthday was just a few days ago. Want to wish her a happy birthday. Hope she hears this. She's awesome. One of the greatest people you ever meet. So thank you so much for everything you guys do for Wire2Wire Sports Podcast. I'm the NFL genius, Gene Walzak. That's Kent State's own, Cleveland's own College Cottrell, and Scholastic Uncle Shally. And we are signing out.